Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. She is somebody that helps you move your life along in the way of coaching you, mastering your life. She is Dr. Thomie Campbell, life mastery consultant. And today we're going to talk about people being single and being healthy. And we always kind of focus on relationships from time to time, but nobody ever talks about single people. I hardly ever hear it. So we're doing that. Thomie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Good to have you here. We talked about this before we went on about living single. And what was your thought? Why were you feeling that we should talk about this today?
Because it is a hot topic. You know, it's something that's not widely discussed or openly discussed. We talk about it amongst our friends and family, but it's not something that's really discussed as a society. And it's really a problem. You know, we have people not happy being single because of traditions or what society say, you know, how we should live our lives. And so we have people like under pressure. So,
yeah.
And it's really an issue. So I thought this would be a good topic to speak on today.
I'm on your page. I'll be honest, newly single. I mean, fairly newly single after a bunch of years and for a lot of reasons, happily so. But that being said, there's also some research coming out that says that guys, you know, between the ages of somewhere between 40 and 60 have a harder time meeting a partner, a woman, than the other way around. And I don't know why that is. I mean, you know, I don't know the numbers or whatever it was, but I read that recently, and even friends kind of say the same thing. So yeah, it's, you know, it's, what's wrong with you? How come you're not with somebody? Maybe you choose not to be with somebody.
That's it.
You haven't found that person.
And it's okay to say that, you know. You kept cutting off, so I didn't get everything you were saying. But, you know, when a person is single, I've given it a word. It could be used by other people, but I always say, I coined this word, this term. But it's called involuntary singleness or involuntary singlehood. And that's when a person wants to be in a relationship, but for some reason just can't seem to hold on to a relationship or to actually get into a relationship. And that becomes a problem with them because they have this longing. And when they have a longing to have this relationship, then they may be okay with it as long as they're busy. So they're working or they're just going about their life. And then the moment they see someone or a couple holding hands, or they're watching a movie, or they're cooking their favorite meal, some things trigger that loneliness in them. And once that loneliness hit, if they don't snap themselves out, there's a chance that they can go into a mild depression. And then on the other side of that, you know, prolonged mild depression can turn into kind of personality disorders, you know. And to speak just briefly on that, I don't want to get too deep into personalities, but, you know, we all have personalities. And how we conduct our lives or cope with life issues is all different. But for some people, and I'm speaking of single, you know, people that's longing to be in a relationship, they may become antisocial, you know, because they fear of rejection, or they feel that someone is going to ask them, why are they single? You know, they try to avoid certain issues or certain situations. And under those terms, you know, you have also you have where they may, on the flip side, where they may decide or can't decide if this relationship is true, or they may, meaning they'll jump all in. They meet someone today And then next week, they're all into this relationship thinking that there's a mutual feeling, and it's not. And so it's either one, they go from one end of the spectrum to the other. And I'm not saying that the same person may have, experience both, but these are some things that happens, and it, causes issues. But, then the question is, well, you said mild depression. Okay. Well, can they go into an actual full-blown depression? Yeah, absolutely. And, I just kind of explained the reasons why. So,
yeah, it's, and on the flip side of that, they may look at people that they know and say, how did they find somebody so fast? Or how come, they're in one relationship, they're on to the other? How do they, how did that work? Doesn't mean it's a healthy relationship. Doesn't mean, everything that's not what it totally appears to be all the time.
Yes. And, it's that why me syndrome. I had a client, it was two actually, that actually said, I look around and I see all shapes and colors, and why not me? I take care of my body. I, have my hair and nails done. I'm a good person. I love God, or I love myself. And they think about all the good qualities of themselves and don't understand how come they can't have a relationship. And these are two women that we went through, a process of them loving themselves first, because they've been single for over 15 years, and it's really a problem for them. Well, at a time, it was a problem.
Yeah. I mean, and I hear that too. I know somebody she's a widow. Actually, no. Actually, yes. I know somebody who's a widow. These are just great friends. And somebody who is not. And they were single for like 10 years, maybe even more. Maybe there was a relationship here and there. And they're both with somebody now. Seems like it's a great relationship, but a lot of time went by. Do you think that many times in those situations where you can't find somebody, or it's not working, you're putting out the wrong message? You're putting out the wrong energy. You don't even know you're doing it, but you're attracting not what's best for you. And then now you're on to the next one. Now you're on to the next one.
We get what we put out. And when we send those signals, then we attract those signals. So I agree with you on that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was traditions. I spoke of that a little earlier. And, our parents, or just society in general, say that we should be married. And, oh, you're 30 years old. You're not married yet. What's wrong with you? So then we go to church, and they speak of husbands and wives, and okay, what about the single people? We're people too. So society has made us believe that we don't matter unless we're married. And that's not true, because there are so many single, powerful people, and wonder why can't everyone have that same attitude. I'm single, like me, for instance. I'm a widow. I've been a widow for 5 years and didn't even realize that it had been 5 years, because I just been doing me. I'm not focused on another person or a companion. I've been so busy with me, I don't have time to think about that. And then when I do, when someone bring it up, it's like, oh, okay, all right. And I keep doing what I'm doing. I don't need a companion for me to value my life or to value myself. I'm all good. I take myself to dinner. I take myself on vacation. I do a lot of things when it's just me, and I'm okay with that. And I don't realize that I don't have a companion until someone says something.
Wow.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah. What about those people that I just want to be with somebody? So everybody's wired different. So, you want to share experiences with someone. You want that companionship. Some more guys are like that than women. But how do you navigate through that? I think that can be a challenge too.
Yeah, you froze again, but I'm gonna keep going. So then, that brings me to the point of, sometimes people rather have a strained relationship than not to have a relationship at all. And what I mean by that is, I've heard both men and women say that it is better to have a no good person in their life than to not have anyone at all. I don't follow that. So, you need to ask ourselves, how is pain and agony better than no pain or agony?
Right. Yeah. And, it's too interestingly, if you're on a dating app,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear this from friends too, if you see never married, no kids, red flag.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Which is a
Yeah.
shame. Maybe it's just somebody decided to be single and not met the right person, but hey, putting themselves out there again. Who you never know.
Yeah, maybe they just put themselves first. Maybe there were things about themselves that they wanted to do, or they had goals, that they wanted to accomplish before getting, committing with someone. So yeah, I get that. But I know this is a true story. I knew of two women. They were both in a relationship with married men. I was a preteen, I guess around 11 years old. And at the time, I understood that's a no-no. Why would you want to be with a married man? And I heard both of them tell stories of how these men were going to leave their wives and to be with them. I knew then at 11, these men were not leaving their wives, because if they were, they would have left the wives before getting with you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Amen.
I knew that at 11.
Jeez.
So it came a time when the younger of the two, she was with the guy for, I guess, around 3 years or so. I'm trying to go through my grades, about 3 years, until his wife found out and threatened to harm her. That ended the relationship. The older of the two was in this relationship for over 15 years.
Wow.
And she died, and the man still lived with his wife. So I mentioned those two stories for women that are out there, or men, you're out there, and because you want love so much that you rather live a lie and believe in a fake love than to wait on true love. And by giving yourself up to something that is fake, you would never see the true love.
And you're never going to meet that true love because you're already tangled in something else. And again, the energy you're putting out there is not right. And at the same time, look at that guy. Mm-hmm. What kind of quality person is that? And I'm not here to judge, but
right.
You're 15 years of living a lie with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about that person? I'm sorry.
Right. No, that's true. And then so it makes you wonder too. Okay, say he did leave his wife.
Yeah.
Would he do the same to you? You lived a lie with him for 15 years. What makes you think that he won't go with someone else and have you continue to live a lie?
Oh yeah. And then, you have that cliche, once a cheater, always a cheater. Mm-hmm. There are exceptions. People do, maybe make mistakes. I'm going to temper this. Make mistakes. Maybe it's a just happened short period of time. When it's a longer period of time of infidelity, it's not a mistake. It's a decision. Mm-hmm. And, for that person, the guy in that situation, he's got problems. If he was mentally all perfect in his life, he wouldn't be cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that he's got things things are missing within him. He's finding it within somebody else. And I don't think you can always say that it's the relationship, then then you get divorced, whatever, move on.
Right. And that's the perfect segue into my next topic. It's about recognizing your truth. So how do you recognize your truth? You recognize your truth. You have to sit with yourself and you have to be real with yourself. And so for me, I would suggest get out a piece of paper and a pen, or sit at your computer. Give yourself 4 columns. Your first column is going to be, the heading will be, what do I love about myself? Column 2, what can I improve about myself? And column 3 is, what can I do to change column 2 so that I can love myself? And then column 4, you're going to write, within the next 2 weeks, what steps can I take to make these changes? And so the reason I said in number 2, what can I improve? I'm keeping away the negative, keeping it positive. What can I improve about myself? And if you're really truthful about yourself, so, don't just say, I love myself. I love my hair. What is it about your hair? Or the strand? Get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
You just don't leave it at the surface. Break it down. Just really talk to yourself. Build that out. And then with the improve myself, do the same thing. With every step, you really have to get down to the nitty gritty, get what they call it, down and dirty with yourself. And that way you can see the things that you really need to hone in on.
Yeah. When you go deeper, it makes you think, and you potentially will start uncovering things that you didn't even realize about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's important to do that, because until you do that, you will keep making the same mistakes, attracting the same types of people. So the benefit of doing that, once you identify and you make these changes about yourself, and during this time, you want to be single. You don't want to get into a relationship. This is a time that you spend to yourself, and you discover who you are, what it is that you like, love, and want to be. And once you get to the point where you love yourself, you have gone through this stage, and I would say that you repeat this every 2 months. And once you have everything in column 1 and you love yourself, then you can start seeking relationships, because you first have to love yourself. And if you love yourself, and then when you seek a companion, then you would also be able to identify a person that could possibly love you too. And so you may meet a person and you don't know, immediately if they could love you too, but you have a good feeling about that person. This person really intrigues you. But then along the way, there may be things that is said or done that make your antenna go up. And then you're like, aha. So it's okay. And you do it immediately. You ask the question, it's okay to question your feelings towards the person. You pose the question to them. You could say something like, hey, I'm just curious. You said da da da. So why did you say that? I'm just, I didn't think that way, or, I don't understand that. Help me to understand that. You're making the question inviting and not like attacking the person. Or why did you do that? Oh, I hadn't seen that before. Or, you soften the question, but you're getting your answer at the same time. And you just be really, you be on alert. You watch for triggers. And this way, It doesn't allow you to get into relationships that you end up being hurt.
Dr. Thomie just rang the bell. Ding. It's so true. And in my life lesson, I have learned that somebody will tell you everything about them in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a, romantic, intimate relationship, friendship, business relationship. Listen and observe, because they're
Yes.
giving you all the signs at the very beginning. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you're wrapped up in something or it's all fresh and you meet somebody and you're excited and it's all good, you're not seeing that. You're not looking for that, because it's like, hey, I hit the jackpot. This is great. This is going to be fantastic. But it's all there. It's all there.
Yes, and that is so true. And I can say from personal experience, there's a saying that you believe some of what you hear and part of what you believe some of what you see and part of what you hear, or something like that. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. I'll be thinking about that today, by the
Okay.
way. For sure. Yeah.
I was in a relationship and I saw signs even before it even got into a relationship. So when I started, getting acquainted with the person, I questioned my feelings, opposed my feelings towards him, the question. So anyway, he had very good answers. It was so believable. I was okay. I let them in, let them into my life. And then I started hearing little buzz things about him. And again, I didn't let it go. I questioned him about it. Oh, had the perfect answer, made logical sense, but my antennas were up all along. And yeah, it
you know what it is? You know what it is? As you go through your life journey, you're more in tune, and inside you know what the answer is. You just have to, and I know it's kind of rhetorical, maybe a cliche, your gut and everything. You just got to listen to it. And you know what's right. But sometimes we ignore it. Let's say, we're talking, people being single, could be single for a while, want to meet somebody, and you find that person that you think is, hey, this really good potential. You push it off your plate, where you should, I don't want to be skeptical, but you should be listening, and that's how you're going to find out. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Gut.
Yeah.
Just follow your gut.
This is not a relationship situation, but I had a challenging situation the last couple of days, and I was listening to my gut. I was just leaning back, like, yeah, even somebody, even anxious a little bit. I don't get anxious, but I was like a little bit, I see that piece, put that piece together. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on there. Let me watch this play out. And I never do this, but I was like, yeah, you got it. The gut was right. Yes. And I got my question answered, and relief now. Relief. Yeah. It's a powerful thing.
And then, so I know we're coming up on towards the end of the show, but I want to bring out in talking to clients and just people in general, I wrote down 6 of the most desired qualities that people require in a relationship. So
and you're going to make me guess. No,
I'm going to say them.
First one is honesty, and it better be on the list.
Well, it's not in any particular order, but honesty is there.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I said. It better be on the list. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So it says the ability to have a meaningful conversation, knowing that what I say matters. We hear so many people, even in my relationships I've had, you don't listen, So.
Yeah. Yep. Totally true.
Yeah.
And that's under the category of communication.
Yep. And then truthfulness at all times. Honesty is the best policy, and it builds trust.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Then the no judgment. Let your heart guide your visions to see that my flaws are part of my beauty.
Like that. Yep. Very true. Accept me for who I am. You don't like it. Bye-bye.
Well, hello. Praise and acknowledgement.
That's a good one to even bring up, because even in a new relationship, sometimes you forget, even just thank you for texting me good morning. We take it for granted, and
thank you.
In my travels, it's, Do you meet somebody? It's always they are expecting a good morning text, and that's fine. But sometimes it's nice to say, you know, thank you for doing that. It's like, oh, you do appreciate that. All right, cool.
So this is one that I like. Someone who can raise the 50-50 relationship to 80-20 when illness or other obligations distract me from the 50%. So
explain that.
Okay. So let me read the second part to it. And then when I raise the relationship, 50-50 relationship to 80-20, then not take advantage of my kindness, but be grateful. And so we always say that a relationship is 50-50. But sometimes in a relationship, it's not 50-50. There may be times when I may have to put in more to the relationship. For instance, if I'm in a relationship and my companion is having to work late and we were to go to dinner, you know, we had plans to go to dinner. Well, maybe at that time, okay, instead of getting angry, what can I do to help this situation out? Maybe I can cook. Maybe I can call in takeout and send it to him, or, you know, have him come over and I have the takeout here. There's different ways, or just say, okay, I understand. And then maybe, you know, make other plans, you know, for another day. Just sometimes we have to put in a little more than, you know, always having to be 50-50.
Yeah. And it's going to be going like this. Some, you know, it's, you know, 50-50, 80-20. It should be a fluctuation between the two.
Yes.
Right.
And then real quick, this is really simple. Reap the benefits. Reap the benefits of being single. And it's simply put, the benefits of being single is that you can focus on yourself. You can focus on the things that you dream of doing. You can focus on the goals, the travels, or anything without distraction. You know? Yeah.
And I'll add to that. You can reap the benefits of not being with somebody who just doesn't serve you. You know,
yes.
Look at that as a positive. And, you know, one sub note on all of that, for me personally, I have to be proud of the person I'm with. And how are you proud of the person? Like, let's say you go to a party or whatever. It's like, you know, I'm so happy to be with you.
You glance across the room, you know, you're in one spot, she's in the other, and you glance across the room and you just kind of smile at each other and you have this certain look you give each other. Yeah.
Or you meet somebody, you know, at that party, you introduce them to the person you're with in this relationship that you feel good about. And they start talking to that person and you think to yourself, you know, she carries herself well and I'm proud of that. But guess what? That only comes if all of those things are achieved on your top 6 list. It's all part of, it's all connected. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And so the last one is, okay, single people, flip the switch. Now that you love yourself, you set up goals for yourself. You've made your quality list, you know, what you expect in a person. Now you decide on the life you want to live for yourself and go for it.
Yeah.
Change the mindset of being single to time for me. Call it whatever you want, but give the switch a name. So placing a name to the switch helps you to stay focused on it.
And you know, you just spark something. I mean, literally, we have a second left here, but you just spark something in my head. You know, for people who are single, maybe they don't want to be at this time. Doesn't mean forever. You're not single. You got yourself.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, when you think about it, you're not single. Stop saying that. You're not. Because what's single? Not with somebody. You are with somebody. You're with yourself. Yourself. Exactly right. Yeah.
That's absolutely good. I'm going to remember that one.
Well, you started it. It's your idea. Thomie, always fantastic talking with you. I know you're available for people who are in relationships or not, to help them navigate all aspects of life and master life, because you are a life mastery consultant. Your website, if somebody wants to reach out.
drthomie.com, drthomie.com.
Awesome. And when I'm at Applebee's having dinner by myself later, I'll wave across the bar and you'll be over there having dinner by yourself. And that's all cool.
Yeah, and I give you a thumbs up.
Exactly right. All right. Great talking with you, and look forward to getting together again sometime soon.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.